Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today we're going to be covering everything you guys need to know about update 4.1.0. So the last update we got was 4.0.1, that was a minor update. 4.1.0 is the first major update for Season 4. So strap yourselves in guys, because this is going to be a pretty long one. I think there's a lot of stuff to go over in these patch changes. There's a complete armor plate overhaul. There's a lot of changes when it comes to the mastery of the specialist, so getting those tier 1 skins. There are changes to the chat system, new weapons, so stay tuned for all of that. Before we begin though, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel and you enjoy the Battlefield content, that way you won't miss out on any future videos. And as always guys, thank you so much for your support. So let's begin with the mid-season event for Season 4 here, which I believe is called Leviathan Rising. Although here in the patch notes they say Leviathan Wakes. I don't know if that's just an intro, but I digress. So it says here, a special division has begun to stir. The next mid-season event is just around the corner. You can expect brand new themed cosmetics to earn alongside the ability to jump into a new mode that will task you with getting up close and personal with the enemy. But for now, one question remains. Will you be able to shut down the Leviathan in time? Stay tuned for more details. So as with previous mid-season events, of course, we're going to be getting some new cosmetics and a new game mode. It doesn't really surprise me that it's going to be some sort of close quarters game mode. Back in Season 2, we had the, I think, was it 4v4 and then 8v8? And then in Season 3, we had the 3 different game modes that we rotated through, one in each week. So it's going to be interesting to see with Season 4 here if we actually get just one game mode or if it's going to be, you know, an event where we cycle through different game modes each week. Now next up, we have 3 new vault weapons coming to the game. So we've got the AEK 971. I know that is an absolute favourite assault rifle for a lot of you guys out there, including myself. This also adds a new burst fire assault rifle to the game. There aren't really too many of those at the moment, so that's kind of nice to see. And then we've got the RPK 74M LMG, and what's kind of special about this one is that this LMG actually has a magazine instead of a belt, so this is going to be the fastest to reload LMG in the game. And then finally we have the MP443 pistol. No mention yet though of any new attachments or skins coming to the vault weapons for the game, although that has been not just rumoured but pretty much confirmed that it is in the works by DICE, so I don't think we're going to get our hands on that until the next season, unfortunately. Okay, so that's sort of the main meat of the content here, but what I'm going to spend most of the video talking about is some of the nitty-gritty, some of the smaller changes, but ones that are very impactful to the game overall. So let's begin with the armor plates. So armor protection benefits will now only apply to the torso area of your character and no longer provide protection for the entire character. This means any hit to an enemy's torso while they have the armor plates applied will result in a deduction to the player's armor first, and once depleted, damage will follow through to the character's health. The functionality of the armor plate outside of this remains unchanged, including explosive damage to armor. With this overhaul, we are responding to player feedback that armor plating is too effective, and we're making steps to allow you to counter that gadget by providing a skill enhancement to gameplay, encouraging you to prioritize your shots in order to earn faster takedowns. So I think this is a fantastic change, actually. You know, anything that adds a little bit more skill to the game, having to aim for headshots and, you know, maybe even arm and leg shots for that matter, is absolutely great. I think once I saw that armor plates were going to be restricted to the assault class only, that was a little bit of a red flag for me, because we all knew that they were one of the most used gadgets in the game already, and the assault class is always going to be one of the most popular in any Battlefield game. So to put those two things together seemed a little bit too good. So I think these are some really great changes here, and it's going to be interesting, you know, to see how effective it'll be to actually headshot somebody. I think the problem, though, is that you can't really tell who's running armor and who isn't. So, do you just aim for headshots all the time? I'm sure that's a great idea, but me, I'm kind of more of a body shotter, so I might not find this as effective as some better players out there. Okay, moving on to the chat improvements here. Now, these are good, but they're not exactly what I was expecting. So it says we added a new and improved design which leads to a less cluttered experience. Other improvements include, but are not limited to, background opacity decoupling, which now allows for text to remain strong while lowering the opacity of the background. So if you set the opacity of the background of your chat all the way down to 20%, then the text will start to glow so you can see it more clearly. So if you don't like having a background to your chat box, you can totally go ahead and do that now. There have also been some color formatting changes, which results in handles being color coded and white text for chat dialogue. So instead of all of the text being green or, whatever chat channel you're talking in, the names will be green, let's say in squad chat, but the text itself will be white. Now, I did honestly fully expect to see all chat. When I read that there's going to be chat improvements, I was like, oh, surely we must be getting all chat now because they have confirmed that the work on that is done. So, it's nice to see some improvements, but a little bit disappointed that that is not yet in the game. But hey, let's keep our fingers crossed for the next patch. Now, moving on to some more general changes here, they have reduced the traversal sprint delay when barging through doors, and you will now be able to barge through doors while sliding. So if you've got somebody behind a door and you want to get the jump on them, it's maybe a good idea to do a slide now instead of just a regular sprint through that door, try and take them by surprise that way. Now, next up, we have probably what are going to be some of the most popular changes in this patch, and that is to the mastery system for the specialist. So that's the system that allows you to ascertain certain achievements with that specialist and unlock the tier 1 mastery skin for them. So they've adjusted Sundance's mastery requirement from 30 kills to 20 kills and assists with the smart explosives. So it's basically going to be about 33% faster to get Sundance's mastery skin now. With Crawford, they've adjusted the amount from 50 kills down to 30, so that's kills and assists with the mounted Vulcan cannon. They've adjusted Zane's mastery as well. You only need 30 kills now, again, instead of 50 with the XM370A, the airburst. And I think this is going to be the big one. What they've done for Liz here is instead of having to get 10 vehicles destroyed with her TV missile or the Lissile, you only need to get 10 kills when destroying vehicles. So if you take out a Condor or transport heli on the enemy team and you get 5 kills, that is going to count as, 5 kills towards that mastery instead of 1, which is really, really good because in total you need 400. And if you guys are wondering why the numbers are so low here, this is talking about each different level of mastery. I think it's mastery 40 that you need to unlock the tier 1 skin. So, when I'm talking about 30 kills, it's 30 kills for one mastery level instead of 50. And this is my absolute favorite one. They have finally changed Dozer's mastery from 20 kills with the ballistic shield to 40 close distance kills to allow for a more varied playstyle with Dozer, but still making sure he gets up close and personal. So, to me, this was just never a mastery that I would ever attempt. I kind of consider Dozer to be one of the weakest specialists in the game, although, I know there are those of you out there who love him, but getting that many kills with his ballistic shield, most of the time I end up dying. So the fact they've now changed that to just close quarters kills, you can use an SMG, you're going to be able to rate those in way faster, and it's probably going to be one of the easiest tier 1s to get now. Okay, next up we have an audio change. They've improved the audio that plays when various vehicle projectiles are flying by you, such as air-to-ground missiles, 40mm and 30mm cannons, kinetic grenade pods, and more. It is worth noting that you'll mostly benefit from this experience if you're dodging such projectiles. If you're not, well, seek a support specialist. So, this is probably going to be really cool if you're flying around in a helicopter, especially. You'll actually be able to tell what kind of a vehicle is firing at you. Now, as for gadgets, we've seen some changes to the tracer dart. So the tracer dart can no longer lock on through large environmental objects. So if you've tracer darted a vehicle and it goes behind a skyscraper, you are not going to be able to lock it on with a javelin or an M5 or whatever else. And the tracer dart now allows friendlies to lock onto stealth helicopters even when they are in stealth mode. So Tracer Dart is now going to be the ultimate counter for the stealth heli. So if you're not good at using TV missiles, and by the way, I do have a video on how to take out helicopters in Battlefield 2042 if you are struggling with that, so bit of a plug there for you. Go check that one out. But I do know that a lot of players struggle with the TV missile, so maybe Tracer Dart is going to be the new better way for stealth helis. Now, we've also seen a couple of changes to specialists. So for Casper, his OVP recon drone now deals damage to Claymore's C5 anti-tank grenades and proximity sensors, and it can now also EMP the deployable spawn beacon from the EBLC RAM. So previously the recon drone could only really EMP vehicles, not any of this gadgetry or explosives. The fact that it can now EMP explosives is kind of interesting, because let's imagine you have a enemy tank and he's driving over some friendly mines. In theory, you should be able to EMP those mines and the friendly fire from that mine would blow up the tank. At least I think that's how this would work. I haven't really been friendly fired by my own team's C5 or claymores or anything like that, so I'm not sure how the friendly fire is, but that's how it's worked in past games, and I'm pretty sure that is the point of this change. And of course, on top of that, it's always just nice to rid the battlefield of annoying things like that for your own team. And finally here we have just the one important weapon tweak, and that is the M240B, which was already a pretty damn good vault weapon here, one of the best vault weapons. It has now received the correct headshot multiplier of 2 times damage. So I'm not sure if that's an increase, is it a buff, is it a nerf? I don't really know what the incorrect headshot multiplier was before. Perhaps it had the assault rifle one, which I believe is 2.1 or 2.15, so maybe it's seen a bit of a nerf, but on the other hand, it could have had the SMG headshot multiplier, in which case this is a pretty big buff. And that is going to be about it for this one. I'm honestly surprised that we didn't see any changes to the RM68. That weapon is just my absolute favorite at the moment, and I see more and more players picking it up as they unlock it and using it. It's just absolutely insane. But hey, you know, I'm not complaining, I guess. But if you missed this video from the other day, this one is all about the future of Battlefield, the Battlefield universe, and the upcoming seasons for Battlefield 2042. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check that one out. As always, guys, thank you for spending a little bit of your day here with me today. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.